Hello. Hi there. One Talk Group today talk with Diane Litul. She's a writer. She writes for a living. She's a wine lover. She writes about wines as well. And she's a content specialist. So she's here to give us some tips about how to write better for social media. Before we start, I want to say that we're going to talk about wines as well. So if you're not age appropriate, that's the time for you to leave. And let's see if I can find her. Not yet. There we go.
Hi,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. Salute.
Salute. Cheers.
Cheers. Well,
So we have I have my port wine. What do you have over there?
today I have a Finger Lakes Riesling. It's very nice.
Mmm, this is
Smells
great.
good.
I love Riesling. Yeah.
It's a single vineyard from the Finger Lakes, 2018.
Mmm,
So my cat might be making an appearance. We'll see. He's very interested. We have somebody joined. Hello.
good. That's good. Yeah, people take the time because we are very quite punctual. So most people take a few minutes to come in. But we can
Yeah.
start because I'm gonna record this and put on the
Oh,
IGTV. Yeah,
yeah. Cool.
so it's gonna be there anyway.
I'm so excited that you invited me because I think your series seems so great. I saw you had Ricardo on, and that looked awesome. And
Yes, I'm doing a series about it's not like interview, it's more like a wine talk, and it's all
mm,
around the wine world. And I want to take different aspects of the wine world that people don't talk very much, you know, because about the grape, the terroir, or this state, or that state, or this country, or that country, there is a lot of master wines out there that
yeah,
can talk great about it.
that's true.
But there is some points on the wines that I don't see much online.
Yeah,
And photography about glasses and tables and stuff, I don't see much. And he's really good. He's fantastic. I saw him, drinks, photos are unbelievable. You want to drink what he photographs. And I really like what you write, and I was really impressed about that talk. How do we call it? A speech or a presentation?
presentation in Australia, right?
Yeah, we did a presentation in Australia, right? And I saw yours. I was there to talk as well, but I saw yours and I was really impressed. Like, we know each other, but I never saw you talking about what you do.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoy presenting. I mean, it's always fun for me, and that was a time when I was able to combine what I do on my day job, because my title is Senior Manager of Content Development and Copywriting. Um, at a place in Jersey City, data analytics company. So,
Cheers.
yeah, I've been a professional writer for my whole career, and I manage two more writers and a social media gal. So this is what I do like all the time. But I bring my love of wine to it when I do my Instagramming and my wine blogging. So I love to talk, and I think that a lot of people who come to either like trying to do things on social media or with their blogging as well, with a real passion and maybe a real knowledge about what they're blogging about or posting about, but maybe not so like as good with being a storyteller or knowing like any strategy with their content development. So that's why I think like people, you know, it's useful to have somebody give some tips. So
Yes, and there is a lot of how can I say that and be polite? There is a lot of people out there that put themselves as a specialist and
yeah,
social media content specialist. And I hear them talking and I say, this is not right. That's not how you do it. You're not supposed to do that. And I was like, and you get paid to tell people to do the wrong way? We have someone here on my side that knows how to do it the right way.
thank you.
And then I was really like, I don't know. I was surprised. Let's put this way. I
Yeah,
was surprised. Look, I don't live here. I don't live in Australia. I'm not Australian. I'm not American. I'm not English. So English is not my first language, and I can spot some really really big capital mistakes. I can spot like you're
yeah,
not supposed to do that. This is wrong. You
yeah.
know, and I was thinking, okay, if I can spot that, how someone that does that for a living would see that? So that's my first question to you.
Yeah.
What
I know.
is the biggest thing that we are not supposed to do?
Yeah. So, what you had asked me before about, you know, for non-native speakers, non-English speakers, what might a mistake be and how can they work on it? But honestly, it's the same advice for everybody to, if you know, like try to make a good impression. You know, this is even though it's social media and we could write it very fast and post it very fast, and it's all about speed of communication. You know, if you want to do this and do a good job and have audience engagement and build an audience, maybe if that's your goal, then you really want to make sure it's quality. So, for example, for wine, I always am spell checking the grape names because we have grape names from all different countries and you know like Italian, although the Italian grapes, you know, hundreds of different grapes that we can talk about and write about, but you know, I'm going to need to check to spell, you know, Skipetino or something like that. Like that's not going to just be easy for me. So,
Que vusta mina.
yes. Like, um, so that's one thing is just check it. You know, if you don't think you're set, say, and if you're if English is not your first language and you're trying to post something in English and you have a question, one thing I was saying is you can type a phrase into Google in quotations and then see what comes up because maybe you know you put the preposition before the noun and it should have gone the other way or something like that. So that's just and I actually do that as a writer to this day because I think am I saying this in a way that people usually speak or is this something I'm getting wrong? So I'll just Google it and that's a great way to check yourself in addition
That's a great tip
to
because
yeah
that's a great tip because if you come from a Latin language like Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, French,
yeah
you speak in a different position of verbs and preposition and nouns.
yeah
So the tendency people have in a hurry is just to translate and go. And if you come from a how can I say German, Dutch, wherever, it's a different construction and grammar construction, and then you have all these mistakes related to the verbs and adverbs and all that. So it's kind of
yeah
weird.
where do the
If you
adjectives
have both,
go
you have
like
a
you know
huge
she's a
problem because
pretty
you need to pay
girl or
attention for
you
everything.
know, my house is cold. Like, how do you say that in every language? It's going to be different. You know, sometimes cold is at the beginning of the sentence or whatever. So, um,
Yeah.
there's also a free online tool called Grammarly. And I know anybody who has kids in like high school or college, they all use Grammarly. So feel free to use a tool like that as well. And as I was saying, like even though like media like Instagram is meant to be a fast moving media, you know, if you really want to like put yourself out there as like a brand or a content creator, take the time to check it before you put it on your phone. You know, you can do that. It's a good thing.
There is something that I think is really important that people don't talk too much, but I believe that be polite is something that you can tell people on social media, right? Like if you're gonna post something, be polite. Even if you're not talking good about something, you're not compliment something, you can do it and not be aggressive, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely feel like, you know, on social media, I mean, you know, everyone uses it differently, but if you want to have somewhat of a professional image on social media, or maybe you're doing social media for something you're selling, or you're a consultant, or you're trying to build a business, or you have a business, you know, you sort of want to put your best self out there, and absolutely being polite. Um, you know, I mean, that also goes with like the comments that people make, you know, like sometimes someone doesn't agree with something that you've written or a photo that you've taken. And actually, I had
Oh,
somebody to me a while ago, and it wasn't like they weren't, but um, they just didn't understand that photo that I was taking, and I said, okay, you know, I think especially right now with the COVID-19 in the U.S. being so bad, like I really feel like you have to be patient with everybody, including yourself. And so I just, you know, I took a breath and I thought, maybe this person's having a bad day, and so I just addressed them like with kind of empathy, and then they were really appreciative of my response. And then I was like, you know, I think maybe you're looking at it differently, but here's how I meant to have this photo. And they were like, oh, thank you for telling me that. And it was actually turned out to be very nice. But you know, you have to be, yeah, you have to be polite, and it's kind of weird because you're talking to people you don't know sometimes. So, you know, you have to think about what are my boundaries? What am I okay with talking about? You know, what things do I say I'm not comfortable with? And, you know, just like any other part of life, but it's really out there. So you have to, you know, keep it uppermost in mind.
yeah. And it's because I was thinking, I see two kinds of people that write. I see people that really need to write, that they are the writers, like they really need to write. So I am like, you get a napkin and you write on the table, or you get some paper or
Yeah.
whatever, and because something comes to your mind and you
Yeah.
need to do it. And you get your phone and you write on a phone, you always have a note or something open to write. So it's kind of a need to do it, right? And there is other people that want to write. And social media now is like a platform for people to talk. Everybody thinks they are
Yeah.
their own broadcast, like we are doing now. Or you know, it's kind of pretentious. I took a lot of time for me to do that because I was thinking, who am I to do that? It's so
Yeah.
pretentious to go there and talk like what? Who
You
am
have,
I? You know?
it takes a certain amount, you know, you have to be confident, and you have to just, you know, put yourself out there for sure. Um, but yeah, I think, you know, and I think that like, right, not everybody needs to be like the best writer or a professional writer in order to have a good social media presence. I think one of the things that's really nice in social media that I like to see is when somebody has, you know, when you really understand what they're trying to say on their social media platform. So one of the things about that is consistency. So, and I've evolved myself with this in my Instagram. First of all, I love Instagram. I love taking pictures. To me, it's really fun. And I do it for fun. Like I'm just like, you know, I'm
Because
really,
you do it because you do it. That's what you do, right? It's natural for you. But
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean,
I'm,
explain what's consistency. What are you talking about? It's like every day at the same time, or there is
no, no,
always a theme.
some people do that, and that's cool for them. For me, it means more like, so I decided to narrow down what I was posting on my Instagram, because I'm the kind of person I could take pictures like all day long of things and like post, but I decided that I really wanted to focus on, like, I want to make it so if somebody comes to my Instagram, they said, what is her thing about? I don't get it. One day it's this kind of thing, the other day it's that kind of thing. Who is she? What is she trying to say? And
Yeah.
so what I do is I have narrowed it down to posting about, so Wine, Dine, Go, it's self-explanatory. I post about wine as well as beer, as well as cocktails, things like that. I love to post about dining out, delicious meals, good restaurants, cooking at home that I do. I enjoy cooking, and if I have a recipe, especially with all the COVID stuff, we were all doing a lot of home cooking, so that's fun to share. Travel is a big part of what my content is, and because I live in one of the most visited cities in the world, New York City, I love to post about fun things about New York City too, because I know that even though a lot of the people I know, oh yeah, we all went to that same cafe or whatever, but the friends that I have in Europe, they think that's really interesting. So that's a whole different thing. So that's my focus. And what I started doing was, if I want to do something that's not in that focus, most of the time I'll use my Instagram stories because they just disappear. And to me, I love doing it like that because the Instagram feed is more permanent and that's going to stay with you. So if somebody wants to see, what is this woman's account about? What's her blog about? Look at my Instagram, you see, oh, there's some wine, there's some food, there's a beautiful landscape. Okay, I understand what she's about. And it goes with the name, Wine, Dine, Go. Whereas if you look at my stories, that's kind of the movie outtakes, almost like the blooper reel sometimes. It's here's the real life me, maybe it's my work at home selfie because I'm bored, or something like that. Or it's my cat, something like that. So that's where I feel you can be more fun and play with, photos a little bit more and do something different. For me, I feel that's a nice way to balance out what you're posting.
So it's a good thing to change or modify what you post in different platforms, right?
I so agree with that. And for me, see, with Facebook, you have to both agree to be each other's friends, right? So there are my real friends who are on my Facebook. So I might post more about my family on Facebook. I feel that's a better place to talk about something personal. Whereas with Instagram or Twitter as well, anybody could follow me, unless I block them. So that's more of a very public facing platform. So, and also just not to bore your followers. If I see somebody posting the exact same photo every single time on their Facebook and their Instagram, it makes me want to maybe not follow their Instagram or something like that. And so, yeah, I definitely think mixing it up on platforms is a good idea.
Yeah, and it's a good idea also to think who is seeing what you're posting. Like you said, Instagram is more like a family, older people, so be careful with the language over there. Twitter is more timeless.
Yeah, and Twitter, I mean, people just a lot of art on Twitter also.
Language is important as well, like the style.
Yes. Yeah, one of the things that I talked about on my talk from Australia, where we were both at, is if you want to get more engagement, that you use those hashtags. And
Because it's
yeah, am I on now?
now you're back.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
now you're back. So
Yeah, so
say it again.
yeah, so I was saying that if you want to get more engagement or more followers, hi James, my very good friend James just joined us. He's in Harlem and an artist. For more engagement, you can use hashtags, and that way people who are, if I posted this glass of wine and I said hashtag Finger Lakes, hashtag Riesling, people who love Finger Lakes Riesling may find that photo and either, like it or leave a comment. Maybe the winery would see it, which is always nice. Andre, hello, cheers. So yeah, definitely use hashtags. You know, you don't have to use 30 hashtags every time. You could use a half dozen, what feels comfortable to you, but it definitely amplifies your content to other people who are interested in the same topics.
But it's important. Now I'm going to say something for non-English speakers. It's really important to pay attention that hashtag is about the keyboard, the English keyboard. So you don't use accents or any kind of letter that doesn't fit in the English alphabet for hashtag. So this is important as well. If you want to be found, think about it. You use only the 23, I believe.
X 26.
From the alphabet, from the English
Yeah.
alphabet with the
Yeah.
hashtag. That's really important as well. Don't go with accents and double dots and all this stuff on the hashtags because it doesn't work like that.
Hashtags is another thing where it's really easy to make typos. And then, you know, like maybe you've got like these great I know because I type really fast on my phone and I'm often like, and if I don't go and look back and see the typos, then, you know, maybe you came up with a great hashtag, but nobody's ever going to see it because you know, mistyped something. So check those as well.
Yeah, that's really important, I think. And if you want to be found, right?
Exactly.
If you don't want to be found, just don't go on social media. Just be quiet in your house,
Well,
right?
no, I mean, there's certain people that like to just have an account to look at other people's accounts and, you know, celebrities or their sports teams. That's fine. You know, that's totally fine. But if you want to be out there, it's a good idea to post on a pretty regular basis. You know, you were talking about if there's like a time and everything. For me, um, if I have a post that I really, really want people to see, there are analytics online where you can look up and say, what is the best time to post this? So for example, posting on a Saturday morning, East Coast time is a bad time to post if you want people to see it. Um, Sometimes I post then anyway, because if I don't care that much about too many people seeing it, but if I have a sensational travel photo, like one I'm like really, really excited about posting, I will make sure like, okay, I'm not going to post it at a really dead time for the internet. Like I'm going to know maybe it's like a lot of times lunchtime on a weekday in US time is good because people are taking breaks, for example. But there are things that you can look up and actually those metrics change. And in my day job, we pay attention to that for when we do our emails and things like that out to customers because we want people to be paying attention, looking at their computers or their phones.
Yeah, and it's something else to pay attention is who is going to see that, the target, the
Yeah,
public, the
yeah,
audience. Who's going to see that? Where are they?
exactly.
Are they in the same time zone as you, or are they in another time zone? Now here we have five different time zones as far as I can see from the people here that join the live. You have the West Coast from the US, you have the East Coast from the US, you have Portugal, you have Australia, you have Brazil, you have, I don't know. So different time zones. I'm just had lunch. You are about to have dinner. Some
Yes,
people are about to go to bed. Other
exactly.
people are just waking up.
I know it's fun when I go to sleep to wake up and see who in Australia liked my post. Or
Yeah.
also because we are wine bloggers and we do talk about drinking to know like oh, who was a little tipsy when they left that comment on my post because I know like which of my
Yes.
English friends left that funny
Yes.
comment late at night.
That's another thing that I think is really, really important. Don't drink and post.
Yeah,
Keep it, save it, and then you post it. But don't drink and post. Don't post drunk. That's something.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
It's a very helpful tip. Just don't
It
don't
really
don't
is.
don't start to call people in the middle of the night. Don't start posting on social media. Just don't. please.
And just know how to take it down if you do post it, because you sometimes an hour later you think that wasn't a good idea. So make sure you know
Yeah.
where the delete buttons are for any of the social media that you use at all times.
But nowadays it's impossible to delete for sure anything. So it's there somewhere.
That's true.
Or maybe someone kept or saved it or screen print or something. So it's not really a good idea.
No. That's just stay away from your phone. Don't do anything.
Don't drink too much. Don't drink too much. It's another tip. But
yeah,
this is kind of personal talking.
drink in moderation.
Yeah, alcohol is intoxicating. How do you say intoxicating?
It's intoxicating.
Intoxicating substance. So you need to be careful when you drink.
Do.
Yeah.
And care.
So what would you say for someone that is like, okay, I'm in this COVID quarantine. I'm in the house for 4 months. I'm drinking my wines. I'm drinking my whiskey in the house, my bourbon. But I want to write about it because I have so many bottles here, and people are asking me. People are just asking me about the pictures and everything. So I want to start writing. What would you say to that person?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, to me, writing about the things we love is really fun, and do a little research. I love researching things when I'm about to do them. Like even our Instagram live video, I said I don't know how to join this, but I immediately jumped on Google and YouTube and found a video and learned how to do it. So definitely see what works as far as like the tips out there. But I have a few tips. So every article should have a focus. So it's sort of like we're always choosing our words. We're always focusing. Like think about a text message. If I texted my friend today, maybe because I'm making a vacation plan with her and I want to say, hey, I mean, if she doesn't have all day to text me back, what's the one thing I want her to say back to me? Like, hey, did you decide if we're going to go on that vacation together? So think about your articles like that. What's the here are the top 3 birds that I tried that are really making me happy this week, or something like this, or here are 4 cocktails that you can make with the same whiskey, and each one can be for a different mood, so something like that. You can just think like, if I have one idea, and it's not just like, because with the kind of blogging that we do, which is like wine or beer or spirits, often it's like, hey, I drank this and it tasted like this and it comes from here and here's the ingredients and here's how much alcohol and here's the price. Done. That's the most boring kind of article.
Yes. Like anyone, it's like, you don't need to do that because it's already there, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be +1 at the end of the list. Like,
yeah. And the same with social media. Like, I mean, if every like I have been followed by people on Instagram, and I look at their social media to follow them back, and every post is like a wine bottle and a glass, and it says the name of the wine. And I'm like, this is, if that's what you like to do, that's fine. But I don't want to follow that kind of person because I like different kind of content. With wine, it can be, but you have to make it interesting. Talk about the winemakers, talk about the history of the chateau, talk about the landscape, the political situation that's happening in the country, all these things that can affect, what's happening, and tell the story of what's in the glass.
So don't be afraid to be different, right?
Oh yeah.
Because most people want to be in a format. Most people look for, how can I do this to look professional or to look intelligent? Because it's a thing now, right? People want to look intelligent. It's not about the books you read or what you do for a living or wherever your life before now. It's about I need to appear intelligent. So I put these books over here, and I put these wines over here, and I have a cigar because I want to look rich. And cigar for some people is
Yeah.
a status, whatever, I don't know. And so they all get the same format. You know, everybody wants to look intelligent with a book of shelves on the back. It's kind of boring, right?
Yeah, it's very boring because we're all different people. And, I mean, I think you should want to bring a certain professionalism to it in that you're not just, goofing around all the time, but I mean, if that's your thing, that's fine too. But like for the kind of social media, like, like with wine blogging and travel blogging and things like that, I really like when somebody shows their personality. So, different people have things that work better for them. Like I know some Instagram people who are really successful when they ask a question. So they say like, today I'm drinking a Finger Lakes Riesling. What's in your glass? That's an example. Or what's your favorite wine destination? Or something like that. And they get like answers back, and they like talking with people that way. And then other people, get good success sometimes with writing longer posts on Instagram. And I wouldn't recommend that for every time, but now and then, if you see somebody that has like a lot of short posts, and then the one day they do a longer post, I actually tend to read those because I feel like, oh, this is different. What do they have to say that's going on for 3 paragraphs? And it almost becomes like a mini blog post, because it's a lot harder nowadays to get people to go and read your blog than it is to read your social media. So it's something to think about.
And it's quite difficult to write in a blog as well, because you exhaust everything on social media, and you come back to your blog and I see this before.
That's and it is. I just think a lot of people are writing. I know myself included, are writing less on blogs. I mean, for me, sometimes I feel like I have a strong idea for a story, and then I get excited. So like, for example, I went wine tasting the first weekend in the Finger Lakes that it was available again. So I wrote this story, and I got a lot of people saying, where did you go? Where did you stay? Where did you eat? So it's like, it was really giving people information that they really wanted.
She's out. I want to see it. I want to be out as well.
This is where, yes, I bought this that weekend, the Cuca Lake.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful up there. It's such a great destination.
Oh, that's one place that I want to go someday.
I'll come with
Another thing is that I see a lot, maybe not in the US, but I see in Latin America, and I see some countries in Europe as well. It's about copy and paste. So people think that social media is a free environment for you to copy and paste and do whatever you want with other people's work.
Yeah, that's really shameful. Don't do that. I mean, it's one thing to be inspired by somebody else. Like, I know somebody who went to a cool place this week, and then I went there and I posted about it too. But it's sort of just, that was more like, here's a good business in Brooklyn that deserves a lot of attention. And it's actually like a little tiny brewery that's owned by, it's a Black guy who owns it. And, it's just like a really good, heartwarming story right now to tell. And so
it's a great place. You want to talk about it.
I was inspired. Hey, Reggie, I was inspired by another blogger, another social media person, but to cut and paste content is, of course, shameful. And hey, Reggie's saying hi on my miss you. Yeah, cheers. I miss all those drinks we had at the end of Mudgee.
Yeah, and we had a great conversation just about that, about what people should not post, because for me, it's very interesting, the negative. I always ask what you don't like, what you should not do, because when I ask what you should do, you have the ready speech to come out. It's ready over there. It just comes. It's like there. When you ask like in a negative, people have to think like, what? Wait, and give it mostly an honest answer. So for me, it's really interesting to see what people don't post or what surprise people, like what calls the eyes. Like we are visiting a vineyard or a winery, and you have 10 different people over there, and then you have 10 different points of view.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see what caught people's eyes, what they are talking about.
Yeah.
And
it's true.
Tell me,
Coffee. Reggie's talking about coffee lovers. Getting coffee.
Yeah, I think he wants to distract us from our fuckers.
We love you, Reggie. That's so true. And it's interesting being on these trips with other bloggers and content producers, because what one will appreciate versus the other. I mean, for example, like our sense of taste, we're very different, it's just as humans. Like my palate is different than the person next to me. And so somebody may really love those wines and maybe I don't. But it's funny. I've been in places where they're so famous for their red wines, for example, and to me, they were like way too extracted and the fruit just didn't do it to me. But maybe they had a fabulous white wine. And that was something I felt like, oh my gosh, this Albarino is amazing and no one else is talking about it. So yeah, for sure. Find what is like makes you feel good about writing that story.
But put yourself in another place. You have a small business. That's your small business. And you want to be online. You want to catch the eye of new customer and people to attract them to go to your business. Or could be a small restaurant, bistro, or could be a small shop or whatever. And how do you think they should manage the content? They should go more pictures, they should go more explanatory, or they should go more small facts, or just...
what I think is working great for people nowadays is short videos. But you have to do it right. Like I just saw some wine writers who I really admire doing a video series, and their introduction was way too long. It's like you could be the best writer, you could have books published and still make videos that are not so great. But like for example, good short videos I've been really loving during the lockdown. The chef and restaurateur David Chang, he's been doing his at-home cooking. I'm fascinated. I can't stop watching him making
it's like a masterclass,
Italian
right?
pancakes, and his little kid is in the background and his wife is handing him things, and it's just like, it's so authentic. Plus he's a really inventive cook. But like our friends Sean and Mary, like they're Vindulge, get their book.
I like Jamie Goody.
They started with these great little cooking videos and everybody's like mesmerized. So I think
I really like it, the James Goody.
Yes.
He makes like small, very short videos, like 2 minutes, tasting wines, because tasting wines on camera is the most boring thing ever. It's really boring, and it's not entertaining at all. It's kind of frustrating because you're not there tasting as well.
Exactly.
So it's kind of, I'm going to see this guy tasting the wines I want to drink. No. But he does it in a very interesting way, very quick. And for me, it's a surprise because most of the writers, like people that write really well, are not extrovert. They are more introvert.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why they read too much, they write too much.
It's a challenge.
It's a social skills,
challenge. Right? A lot of writers are introverts. It's true.
So when they go to do the video and they want to post online, and most of there's a lot of people that lost their jobs nowadays and goes to social media kind of to put themselves out there. It's like a shopping window, to put yourself out there. You see, look, I'm here, hire me back, or something like that. So you see this awkward kind of writer, like, it's struggling to be or put the phone like here or something. It's kind
Yeah.
of so
So,
for
you know,
this. But
get
if
some
you like
feedback.
that,
Don't just post things like, you know, show a very close friend who would tell you the truth, you know, because it's like, if you're not good on camera, then turn the camera around on somebody else. Like you could talk to, you know, like if you own a restaurant, maybe it's, you know, your chef, maybe it's your maitre d', maybe it's one of the servers who's just like really fun and passionate, maybe it's the bartender who has like that point of view that is just going to come across really well on camera. Make a star of somebody else. But I definitely think that video is a place where people just get very engaged. And like, let's face it, we all, even like people that have their like jobs still like me, we're all wasting time online all the time, especially with work at home. Like, you know, you're in the conference call and then you're also like on your phone, you know, so it's sort of like
yeah, I
everybody's
thought about it because I
distractions
got a
right now.
schedule for someone's gonna interview me for university in Oregon, and they asked me for pictures of me in vineyards or trips or wherever, like at work, and I was browsing around and there is no pictures of me. I never take selfies. I'm not a
You're
selfie
always like,
person.
no, don't take my picture.
I'm not going to a winery. I'm not going to Australia to take pictures of me. You know, I'm going there to take pictures of the wines, the winemakers, the grapes and the vineyards and the great place and people that I met over there. So it's kind of a struggle out now, and I realize I'm introvert.
Yeah,
I'm shy,
yeah.
and I don't take selfies.
But look at you, you're doing this. So it's amazing.
And I was like, and the lady is very polite and everything. And I was talking to her, and she told me, but I saw so many videos of you. I saw so many pictures of you with everybody. Nobody told me you were shy. Nobody told me you were introvert. And I said, yeah, but I travel to take pictures of the wines and the wineries, not myself.
Yeah.
I can take pictures of myself in my house. I don't need to leave the house for that.
Well, you're gonna have to go to a winery soon and get someone to do a nice photo shoot of you with looking glamorous.
So we need to do all the traveling again, right?
I actually had a conversation about selfies with a friend of mine, and I said, it's a guy, and he sent me a selfie. I was like, that's terrible, and I'm like, and I said, it's all about the lighting. Like, you gotta get the lighting right. But that's true of any
I
photography.
don't know.
You know, you really,
I don't feel I'm not a Kardashian to live out of selfies. You know, it's just
but that's, you know, lighting is so important. I mean, I'm sure Ricardo talked about this. Lighting is so important for your photos. I was out to dinner with a friend of mine, I think the second dinner since the lockdown, and she took a picture of her food and texted her boyfriend, and then took a picture of my food and I put it on Instagram, and I was showing him later the pictures, and he said, that looks nothing like what his girlfriend took. And he showed me her photo. It was all dark and shadows and things like this. So, you know, like getting the lighting right. And then Instagram is great because I actually use the editing, not the filters, but you can edit each little thing. Like you can edit the contrast and the lighting, the saturation of the photo. That makes a huge difference in a lot of the photos that we take with our phones. So it's definitely something to look at if you are on Instagram, is to look at how to bring out the best in your pictures just with the simple editing tools that they have on the platform.
so. Now you were saying that the content is not only writing. So it's not only about what you write on social media. It's about the picture. It's about the subject. Is that the food, the wine, yourself? It's about the little movie, short movie, or
Yeah.
short. Um, how can I say short writing?
Videos. Oh yeah.
Is there a special name for writing social media? Not yet.
It's called content, you know, developing content, you know, so that content applies to anything, a blog, a website, you know, your all your Instagram posts and things like that?
I believe people need to start exercise talking instead of writing, because I believe all this social media is going to migrate for talking and voice assistant. That's what I believe. And I believe what we're doing now is past, it's gone. It's not going to be here for so long. It's like record your pictures on CD. It's gone. Nobody
Yeah,
does
true. Nobody
that
does that.
anymore. Yeah, it's gone. No, no sticks with the picture. No, no, thank you. Everybody's in the cloud or somewhere.
Oops, sorry.
So I believe what we are doing is gonna go to voice assistant and video, some video features that complement the voice assistant, and you don't need to type anymore, or you don't want to type anymore. You never know the next trend, what's going to be. But humanity have this tendency to go in the easier path, right?
Yeah,
We humans are kind of lazy, right?
it's true.
So do you think the content needs to adapt to a new platform, or do you think people keep doing whatever they keep doing, just keep doing?
We always have to adapt. We always have to adapt. Absolutely. And, I've talked a little bit about the video content. When people first started doing videos I know on their wine blogs, for example, some of them were so terrible. It's like every time, we're given new tools,
Oh my God.
we need to learn how to use them correctly. I know that when they first started giving people like word processing softwares with different fonts, and people were developing things with 12 different fonts in one page and things like,
Very polluted,
like,
visual pollution, right?
yeah. And then the video, like, oh, we all have video cameras. We're all, like Jean-Luc Godard or something. It's like, no, you're really, really, it's embarrassing. You're too far away. The sound isn't right. All these things. And
yeah, but I have the COVID hair, so
good.
I have a COVID hair, so
But
I can use COVID as an excuse, right?
you look so good. Shut up.
I can use a COVID as an excuse for the old-fashioned dress.
Are we going to attend the wine media conference 2020 virtual conference? I am, so I will see you virtually at that, which will be fun.
I don't know yet. Let's see how it goes. I have something else planned, so I need to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my birthday. I know, half a century. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's fabulous. So I wish I should have champagne for that toast, but we're gonna.
I had plenty. Yeah, I had I had plenty. Yeah. It was a good celebration in the house, but it still was. You always have your bottles to warm you up.
The bottles keep us company.
Yeah, you're never alone.
And it's funny because I think it's probably a good time to be doing media content about alcohol, because like alcohol sales really, really soared during the whole lockdown.
Yeah. And depends where you are. Some places the alcohol sales were down, and some places where they came up, especially local. Here in Washington State, they have some cool initiatives that people buying local wine, and they did a very good job with that, especially in the supermarkets and direct to consumer selling and education.
Great support.
And yeah, it's not only about free shipping, it's more about let's spend your money here because you live here, and if you spend locally, it's gonna come back to you somehow.
Yeah, I feel the same way about this. Some of the posting I do about the bars and restaurants in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, that were doing takeout, like the earliest people to open up. Like there's a bar near me called the Adirondack. It's a great beer bar, cocktails. And they had a little window, and this is like going on like probably 6 weeks now. They were just a little bit open, like a couple hours in the night. And these are people I know from the neighborhood, and it was just wonderful to see them there. So I was posting them because I really just wanted to give them support. And like the local restaurants around here, I always put the location. That's one thing that I think everybody who does social media, Instagram, if you're someplace, put the location down, especially like a great restaurant meal. Like give some attention to that great restaurant that just gave you that wonderful meal, because it makes a difference. I pay attention to where people have their dinner and things like that. I get ideas, I'll go to those restaurants, and then I'll tell my friends. So it's really important to support our communities, both like the local like wine growing regions, the local brewers, distillers, the restaurateurs. I mean, this is something where we can actually do some good in addition to enjoying ourselves, which is always it's like I'm so grateful that they're in business. I'm so grateful that I can still go to a restaurant in my neighborhood and have that experience, even if it's a changed experience. But just they're helping our lives be more pleasant, more enjoyable, and it's really great to give them a little bit of publicity through your social media.
Yes, I agree. Totally agree. We have 5 more minutes.
Oh, okay.
And I want you to talk about your book, because I'm dying to read your book. I'm dying
for everybody to read. So
yeah, everybody wants to read your book, and there is no book. Yeah. What's the book? What's going on?
The book is a memoir about 8 years of my life, starting in around 2003 and going to about 2011. And it's really talking about how I got to be a wine blogger. And the reason I became a wine blogger is because I was in a bad marriage. And I was a suburban mom. I had 2 kids. I still have 2 kids, but they're adults now.
Yeah. I saw the pictures. They are like,
yeah, my son is like, he's a beard. I am working on the final edit, and then the next step after that would be to look around for an agent and try to get representation. So hopefully in a year, this will be a lot further along. It is written. It's like finished. The book is finished, but I need to edit it, and then.
Oh, you finished? Oh.
Yeah, I got to the end, but now I'm like trimming and doing editing things. But it's a long process, and with working full time, it's hard to make time. But the message of the book is it'll be interesting to anybody who has ever written a wine blog, because I talk about starting a wine blog, going to the first wine bloggers conference in the US in 2008. Gary Vaynerchuk, who used to do Wine Library TV, was like super famous, like such a celebrity to every wine media person back then. He's moved on to other things, but he spoke there, and what my experiences were like, making friends with other bloggers, having this new interest, developing as a writer, all while balancing responsibilities.
I'm dying to read, because I've heard so many how can I say, teased so many histories, and I'm dying to read.
It's a message to mothers and women in particular, or anybody. Just like if you're in a bad relationship, you can make changes in your life. You don't have to stay in that. And also, it sort of became blogging was like an escapism thing for me. Like I was like, forget my problems.
You need to write. You are a writer.
But then it became my identity, and so it's a nice journey, and I think people will enjoy it. I'm working hard to make it a good one. Thank you for asking about it.
Great. I can't wait. So let's say goodbye. Let's finish this before Instagram puts us down. Okay. Suddenly, it has this thing that just puts you down, like crash everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I
think your tips about writing and social media content.
The only time I don't like talking to you is in the morning before you've had your coffee, Luciana.
No.
every
No,
other
no, no,
time.
no, 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 no,
I love
no, no, no.
talking to you. So
Yeah, it
cheers.
was very nice to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody that joined us today. And feel free to send questions to me about anything I've said. I'm Wine Dine Go online. Find me there.
I'm gonna record and put in that IGTV or something that on Instagram. It's gonna be there. Thank you,
Love
Diane.
talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.